Okay, so this is probably not an easy post, but when Sydney asked me to do a video for a waiting period, I asked if I could pray about it first, and I really feel led to share at least this little part. So bear with me because this is a little bit hard for me because I'm kind of a private person. um, I had kind of like a small struggle time in my life. And when I met my husband, it was a huge blessing. I was a single mom with a 2-year old, and I just struggled a lot with like self guilt and choices that I'd made in the past, and just really struggled. And so I was praying and I asked God, I said, I know that you can do anything, and I want to know that I have been forgiven for the choices that I've made. So if you would bless me with a son for my husband, and I already had my 2-year-old was a son, and then my husband and I had 2 girls, and then we had very, very quickly after our second girl, I got pregnant, and it was a boy. And just, I mean, that waiting period, it was hard, and I just felt like so much struggle through all of that. And then when our youngest was born, I had so much joy, and I just had like all of this, like this just release of like the tension and the just all the things that had built up inside. And I just felt like God's love was just flowed through me. And I don't know if this is even like helpful to anyone, but so the waiting period time would have been almost 5 years, because the girls came first, and then the last. So we have bookend boys. So it was about 5 years probably. And I prayed fervently, and I just knew that that Abba would answer. And I knew that like my faith just grew in that time, and that I just knew I ended up going from this person who had doubts and not really knowing where I stood, to a person who just felt all this love from the Father, and his mercy and his grace over my life. And it was 5 hard years that had lots of joy bundled up inside, tons of joy. I mean, we had 2 little girls, and I mean, things were just, it was wonderful. I had the blessing of a husband who loved me, and who loved my firstborn, my son, as if it was his own. Still to this day loves him as if it is his own. Has never treated him any differently. It's been a really amazing journey. But those 5 waiting years for an answer probably weren't the easiest. And I'm not a very patient person usually, so those 5 years probably felt strung out to, like 25 years, but it went really fast in reality. I look back and it was so fast. It was like a blink of an eye. Just the joy in the journey, the building up of my faith through all of that. Even though my answer didn't come like right away, I didn't have an answer the very next day or the very next year. It was 5 years roughly before I had an answer. And that the building up of my personal faith, my walk with the Father, my relationship with him, that was so, that's just something that you don't get when you don't have that waiting period. When you have the waiting time and you're building your faith and your trust in him, there's just not anything that compares to that. And the joy that comes in the waiting is built up because of your faith. And it's like it just keeps like stacking and stacking, and the more your faith grows, the deeper that joy becomes. And that's how it was for me anyway. It was a I don't know, it was an interesting time, but I guess that's my tiny little tidbit for you.